Hey everyone, it's Desi Chang, and today we're going to be talking about tripods. Whether you're using it for photography or videography, I'll let you know which ones I use and why I like them. There are a lot of tripod brands out there, and whichever one you choose is up to you. I chose to stick with Manfrotto because they are universal and they work really well with photography and videography. So these ones right here, these ones are my workhorses. I use them for probably about 90% of the jobs that require a tripod. Both of these are actually exactly the same tripods, but I just kind of change a few things about them. So the tripod itself is the Manfrotto 190. And it kind of comes in a few different versions. So this is the carbon fiber version. So it's a little bit more expensive, but it's, I like to keep things light. So they're both the carbon fiber versions, and it's a 3-section. You can get a 4-section one, but I don't like it because it's just another thing you have to worry about. It's another stage that you have to raise. I like it because it's only 2, and that's about it. Starting off with the photography side, when you buy the 190, there's a pro version and there's a non-pro version. I would actually stick to the non-pro version because the only difference is that it comes with this center column right here that goes out this way, if you can see. This is great for getting overhead shots, but for me, I actually would rather put this on put the head on a C-stand to get a little bit more reach because this is not the stablest thing ever. So I would stick to the non-pro version. Next, we got to talk about the head. The head is a very, very important part because depending on what you want to do, you can change it to a video head or put a photo head on. This one right here is a 488 RC2, and it's a beefy, heavy thing. You can mount, a pro body like a 1DX on it. And one thing I really like about having ball heads versus those 3-way pan tilt heads is that, with a 3-way pan tilt head, you have to adjust, your 3 different axes. Whereas this one, it's literally, you just unscrew this one thing and you can kind of swivel it to wherever you want. There is a smaller version of this if you're traveling. And that one is the 494. So it's essentially almost the same thing, but as you can see, it's significantly smaller. So this is my photo tripod. I also like to stick with the RC2 plate because it's nice and small, it's universal. Most of the Manfrotto heads that you will buy will probably come with the RC2 adapter. It's a quick release plate. And the one great thing, this is kind of like a small little hint, tip, trick. If a lot of people also shoot with Blackrapid or hold fast straps. So just like this is not, neither one, this is a heavy, the brand is heavy, but essentially operates the same way as a Blackrapid strap, where it has a small little connector so you can kind of, hook your hook or onto it. So this is the Manfrotto Plate. However, Blackrapid has come up with a thing that you can replace the original screw with, and it looks just like a Blackrapid little hook that you can screw to the bottom of the camera. So not only is it a quick release tripod plate, but you take it off and you can essentially mount it right onto you. So that's one thing I really like about Manfrotto, and it's very, very versatile and universal. Going off into video. So with the video, this is the exact same tripod legs. However, the first thing that I needed to change was the center column. So this center column, if I was not balanced, it's great that I have this ball head that I can kind of change around, but you can't do that with a video head because a video head doesn't have a ball version of it. So I changed the center column to the 556B center column. So essentially took the center column out, the original one, and replaced it with this. The great thing about this is that now it becomes a ball head, whatever head that you want to put on it. So, for example, if I throw my legs on and it's uneven ground, I can just literally unscrew this, change it, watch my level on the head, and screw it back tight. And then now it's great. The other thing is you want to make sure that you have a good head. So this right now is a 701 HDV head. Unfortunately, Manfrotto has discontinued it. They have come up with another one, which I will list down here below, that replaces it. Well, it doesn't really replace it, but it's kind of like an updated version. And I actually don't like the new ones. I much prefer these old ones. So if you could find one on Craigslist or something, definitely buy as many of these ones, as many as you can. It's the perfect size and weight for a smaller rig camera, such as a Canon 5D Mark III, Mark IV. I even have mounted a RED to it. It's a little bit small for the RED, but it still can handle the job. The bigger brother is the 501, so they still make the 501 series head, but it is big and it's overkill, and if you're doing anything using like a DSLR, you don't need it. There is also an aftermarket version, Benro, which essentially is the same size as the 701 HDV. However, I would advise you not to buy this because it's not as fluid when you're panning, tilting, swiveling. It just is not as smooth as the Manfrotto one. So a lot of times I bought this because it was cheaper, and hey, if it works, it works. But if you're going to be doing some panning and tilting, I would advise you not to buy the Benro one. This is the Benro S4. As you can see, there's also something on top in between the tripod and the head, and this is the Motionnine Slider. So this is kind of like an aftermarket, or not aftermarket, but it's very similar to the Edelkrone slider. What I like about this one is that it's a little bit smaller and cheaper. But it's not necessarily worse than the Edelkrone one. I actually had an Edelkrone one originally. It works perfectly fine. However, I just like the Motionnine one because it's nice and slim and small. It's still heavy, but I mount it and I keep it almost permanently on my tripod. Before, I would have to take the slider off and then remount it onto the tripod, but this essentially stays onto my tripod all the time. So some of you might be thinking, oh, that's a pretty small slider, but after you unlock it, it does extend out further, just like that. So these are the two main tripods that I use for everyday work when I need a tripod. The Manfrotto 190 with the Motionnine Slider, 701 HDV head, 488 RC2 head for photography, or there is a smaller one. If you're thinking about traveling, I would definitely not take the Manfrotto 190s with me because they are still a little bit bulky. Instead, I would take one of these two, the Joby Gorillapod, which is great because it could act as a table tripod, or it could just wrap around anything, or you could use it, grab the legs and use it in selfie mode. But most of the times if I'm going traveling and want to travel light, I'd probably take the Giottos VGR 8254. So I bought this because this was, it folded up into a nice compact tripod. It's carbon fiber and it's really, really lightweight. What I don't like about it is the twist lock mechanism. As you can tell, you have to twist and lock every single tripod. It's just a little bit slower than having a latch system like the Manfrotto 190s. The other thing I don't like about it is the head feels a little bit cheap. It is a nice ball head and it does work if you just want something that works. But I would probably swap out for the Manfrotto 494. That way I can use my RC2 tripod plate. This thing folds up to something much smaller than this. What you do is you just raise the center column to the top, tighten it, and fold the legs up and around. And it comes in a small little travel size bag like this. This is my travel tripod. Anyways, I hope some of the information that I shared with you today was helpful. If you liked the video, please like and subscribe to my channel. I'm Desi Cheng, and thank you so much for listening.